Hi guys, welcome back to the second tutorial on RGB. Let's get started. So, I'm not going to talk about the RGB just yet. I want to talk about the case. Not this particular case, but any case in general. I guess we can focus on this case. Now, if you look on my Builds GG profile page, you're going to see another build in a SAMA Maxcool-W. That would be the black version. This, of course, is the white version. And what I've done here temporarily, and this is just to illustrate, for this little tutorial, is I set it up pretty much the same way that the black one was. And I want you to go take a look at that video that I have posted to that black one, and just for comparison's sake, I set the RGB the same. I'm using the exact same RGB in this demonstration. This isn't what the final product's going to be. This is just the demonstration RGB. And I set the fans to actually probably a little less intense than what the ones in the black case were. And I want you to notice the differences here, just between the black and the white. Look how much color just emanates off that. And this is actually isn't very clear. Now let me take this little screw out here real quick and pull this side panel off, because I actually have the film on it still. There we go. Now we can get a little clearer look of the inside. And this actually might surprise you. This is that same junk RGB that I showed you in the first part, that $5 eBay stuff. And just the fans, we'll just call these LED fans set on red. Exact same thing. I'm still working on this motherboard, of course. Here, let me flip on the light real quick. There we go. I'm powering these actually with my little controller back. I ain't going to get into that, but yeah, I got that powered. Okay, so let me turn this off first. Maybe. Where's the remote? There it is. Okay. Turned off that. And I want to focus on the controllers, because that's what I said I was going to talk about, was the controller, and that's where it is. Now, if you watch YouTube videos on wiring these up, everybody will tell you, you got to do them in sequence, of course, duh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what we got in here is, 5 lights. But something that people don't talk about is the correct positioning of the fans. Now, we're going to take the remote here, and we're going to switch the... Let's see if we can find something so I can illustrate this. There we go. And let me slow that down so you can see that. Now, in the front, if you look at the position of them as they're moving, you'll notice the basically where the light color starts out at is basically in the same position. Both of these fans, you can see right there, are upside down. And we'll talk about why I did that later. But anyways, up on top here, you can see they're opposite. So whenever you do your RGB, you absolutely want to make sure you got your positioning right. Let me get another fan out of one of the boxes here. Hold on here. I got a whole bunch of these dang things. Generally, what I like to do is just kind of outline how it's going to look in there. Now, we know this is going to go here, here, and then we know to take our fan, flip it like that, so that we know that this position here, this position goes here, and then this goes here. You can go by your label. Some fans will have like little arrows on the sides that you can use. But if you don't do that, and it's really important, like when you're using the Corsair stuff and you're looking for that Pong effect that I showed in the intro video of the on the Apivia case, the positioning is very important, and we'll get into the Corsair stuff in the third tutorial. This is just the cheapy stuff, okay? This is basically RGB on the cheap. I mean, you look on my profile page, that's why I say I specialize in, you know, doing cheap builds for people that are on a budget. Corsair stuff, of course, is a little more pricey, but it's got more features and more stuff we can do to it, like putting it into the motherboard headers and what shit. What else was I going to say? Okay. Like I said, this is going to be a cheaper build for a guy on a budget. So we're actually going to reutilize that Cooler Master cooler that we showed you in the first tutorial, and I'm going to reutilize those memory covers for this. You know, with these type of fan and that memory cover, it should actually look, you know, not exactly synchronized, but uniform in looks when it shows off. Excuse me, dry again. So, like I said, and was mentioning about the case, and as you could see, having a white interior really made the difference between night and day. You know, like I said, go look at that other build, take a look for yourself, and see what difference that it makes. And painting a case is probably one of the easiest, cheapest things you can do. Yeah, cheap. Because, you know, you just get a roll of painter's tape, you know, and a couple cans of Krylon, and go at it. Now, I use two different types of white. You know, you got the gloss, and then you got the flat. Flat will generally just kind of brighten things up a little bit. Gloss will reflect it. Now, this Sama case is gloss, so as you've seen at the beginning of this video, that gloss really, really reflected that color out, and it made it so that even something like this cheap RGB would just glow in there. That's pretty neat, huh? Now, if you wanted to do something like this with this cheap RGB strip that I have in here, we'll turn that back on one more time. It's pretty simple. You know, you get the kit, and then you just take it and you plug it into your USB port in the back of your motherboard. Now, of course, you'll have to run it through. Like here, I have this temporarily ran through so I could power this to illustrate everything. You know, you might have to remove one of the bay covers, drive cover, PCI covers. God, I can't talk. You might need to move one of those. Or perhaps you might have something in here. Maybe you might even have the radiator holes. But the important thing is that you keep this right here. And these might be different depending on what model you buy of this stuff. Important thing is that you keep this little remote sensor somewhere positioned that you can, that it'll pick up with the remote. Excuse me. Now, something like this, you can actually put this little box in the back of the case. And, you know, that's, of course, what I'm going to do. This is just for illustration purposes with this. And it runs on an RF instead of infrared. So, yeah. I mean, you don't even have to point it at it. You just push your thing. And I think I can illustrate this if I take this here. There we go. And see how that effect changes. And I'm not even anywhere near the case. I'm actually over here, off in the distance. And we'll set this green. So this is a nice way to control it. The only thing I don't like about something like this is, well, you can lose the remote. Look how tiny that is, you know? You know, you're going to set it down somewhere and things happen, and then you're like, oh man, where's the remote? And then next thing you know, well, you're stuck on green all the time. So that's something to look out for. But I mean, you know, there's some advantages here. This was a $35 kit. And I'll leave a link down there to all the stuff that I do when I complete the build. But $35, and that's what you get. You know, the effects aren't controllable, of course, on the motherboard. You have to use the remote. And another thing worth mentioning is on the 6-pin, your fan is controlled by this little box too. And of course, there's no way to really control this. So when you have fans in here, like say, like on this one, I have the radiator. I'm not able to control the speed of that. You know, I can control the pump, you know, when I get the pump put in, but I can't control the speed of the fan going to the radiator. It's not too much an issue on this particular brand. Fans are fairly quiet, I guess. You know, not the quietest. I've heard a lot quieter, but it's just something to keep in mind. If you want that control still, then maybe this kit isn't for you. A lot of people like that control. You know, a lot of people are concerned about their thermals, and they'll want to, you know, maybe have something that spins up a little bit faster, or maybe they're concerned about noise and they want something that's a little bit quieter. And you know, you can set your ranges here, like maybe you want these two, you know, and these two quiet, but you want this one pumping, you know, blowing out that cool air there for the radiator. And you're just not going to get that with this type of kit. I don't know if there's too much more to cover. Well, I guess there is. I might do a part 2, but give you an idea of what's going on here. I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to use that little box that I showed. That's just a little clicky thing that sets the color in this. And I'm going to set it to random colors. And I'm going to mount it in the back so that you won't actually be able to change this, and you won't be able to change this. The only thing you'll be able to change the effects on are just the fans. Like I said, this is more of a budget build. And that's about it for this tutorial. I'll post pictures when I'm done with this build, because I got a way to go. I'm still waiting on 2 parts, and I can finish putting the rest of it together. And I will, of course, post pictures of the build when I'm done with it. And we'll see you in tutorial number 3 when we do some Corsair stuff and get into the more advanced stuff. And hopefully I've articulated a little better this time. I tried to kind of think it through a little bit before I spoke. Didn't cuss too much. I think only a couple swear words. Fuck, I don't know. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you later.